Hello, babies. Welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. I'm Michael Pachter. If you are watching real time, it's because you're a Patreon patron, and we thank you for that. Or because you've linked your Twitch Prime account to your Amazon Prime account, we thank you for that. Make sure you do that. There's a ticker below with the names of those of you who remembered to do that. Or your YouTube subscriber. That's all great. You're getting it real time. If you are not doing any of those things because you got no money, you can't afford it, you don't care to give us money, you're watching a week late. Okay, today's question from Sifted from Matt Baxter. Nintendo subscribes to its Blue Ocean strategy. Where do you imagine this will take the company in the future if streaming becomes the norm? Do you see Nintendo launching its own service, joining somebody else's, or completely ignoring it and doing something different as the Blue Ocean strategy dictates? Home console hardware appears to be its big weakness, so it seems like a perfect position. Look, Blue Ocean strategy is stupid. Nintendo strategy, and I'm just going back to Iwata, not to Furukawa. They looked in the rearview mirror and described their strategy, so they looked at what got them there. And Nintendo said, we didn't make a high-powered console. We added motion control to the Wii, and look how successful we were. Blue Ocean. Blue Ocean is a myth. There are sharks everywhere. I answered a question earlier about why wasn't there competition to Minecraft? Because Minecraft ate all its competition. It was the biggest shark. There is no blue ocean. The ocean's red. And when streaming becomes the norm, Nintendo's either going to play with the big boys and stream its content, or it's not. If it doesn't join, then it's going to have a small niche like it has now. It's not a dominant publisher. It's in third place. I mean, Microsoft and Sony generate higher software engagement than Nintendo does, period. So when streaming increases the market by 8 or 10-fold and sales of all games double, Nintendo's going to make the same money it made before. So if it embraces streaming, and I answered this on an earlier episode, they embrace streaming by putting their games on mobile, they will dominate because they have unique content that will dominate. If they stick to you have to buy our proprietary hardware to play our games, they're going to run in place. They're going to do great. They're going to make plenty of money, but they're not going to grow. So I think the market is positioned to double or triple between the metaverse, these platforms like Roblox, think of Unity, think of Unreal doing the same thing with the metaverse and being platforms for games. Think of competition with the App Store, and you're going to see the take rates drop to 20 or 12 or something instead of 30. The guys with content are going to thrive, and the ones who chase that strategy and put their games on every platform, metaverse platform, streaming platform, subscription platform, whatever's out there, are going to have higher sales than the guy who sticks to what he knows, which is selling proprietary hardware, and you have to buy that hardware to play their games. So Nintendo's going to be left swimming in the kiddie pool in the backyard when everybody else is out in the red ocean. You'll need a console to play Nintendo titles, so they'll be the only console left.
That would be Blue Ocean.
And Xbox and PlayStation are going to turn into Xbox Anywhere. Yeah. So you're not going to need the console. Agreed. Yeah, but they're going to be a small niche. All right, today's question from YouTube from Film Gamer. I like Film Gamer. On a scale of the film industry to Walmart, what is the likelihood of game developers forming a union? Okay. I have never quite understood unionization in the movie industry. I've understood it for the guys who do dangerous jobs like grips, and lighting guys and climbing on scaffolding and risking your life. I get that. Those guys are unionized and should be. I've never quite understood why directors are in a guild or screen actors are in a guild, but in fairness, movies are shot at weird times and weird locations with demanding directors and demanding schedules, so they do need some oversight to make sure that working conditions are fair. But actors make big money and directors make even bigger money, so I have always been surprised. But the analogy for game developers is very much like movie directors and actors. They're well-paid people. So will they form a union? Can they form a union? Do they want to form a union? What's it going to get them? And what it's going to get them is fewer jobs. they'll form a union, and the cost to hire them will go up, and the game publishers will hire fewer of them. So I answered a question a couple episodes ago about Rockstar being unproductive. And Shane asked me, what do those 5 or 6 studios do? Guess what? It'll be 4 studios, and then 3 if they're unionized, because they don't do that much, and you won't keep them all employed. So I'd say the likelihood is really low. You form a union when you have power, and when collaborating or when the group has more power than the employer, the union has real force, and they can actually get something done, walking out. Game developers actually like creating content, and they don't want to strike. What are they going to strike for? You pay us $100,000 a year, we want to make 110. I think that game salaries are competitive. I really do. I personally know dozens of developers who have changed jobs for more money, and guys, I live in LA, so guys go from Naughty Dog to Respawn to Treyarch, routinely to Sony Santa Monica, Naughty Dog, routinely. Guys go from Blizzard to these other places routinely. And I think you're going to always see that. Why do they leave? Because they got a bigger offer. So wages go up because in order to be competitive and retain your employees, you have to pay them well. I've never heard a complaint from game developers about what they're paid. I have heard complaints about crunch time. And the more you get paid, the more you should expect that you're going to work harder, period. So I get it. If you're a game tester and you're making $15 an hour and they're asking you to work overtime and not get paid, you should absolutely form a union to strike. But if you're a $150,000 developer and your bonus for working on Fortnite is another $150,000 at the end of the year, and they ask you to crunch for a few weeks to get the latest season pass out, you do it. I don't know the answer. I would say low likelihood that they form a union. And interestingly, I cover Amazon, and of all the dumbass ideas that Amazon workers ever had, they decided to try to form a union, take a union vote in Alabama. Do you know what Amazon pays in Alabama? $15 an hour. You know what the minimum wage in Alabama is? $7.25. So, question. If all the workers at the Amazon fulfillment center in Alabama walked out, how long would it take Amazon to replace all of them at $15 an hour when every McDonald's worker in the state of Alabama is making $7.25? And the answer is a nanosecond. So that's why the union vote failed. And a judge just threw out the vote results and said they have to vote again. It's going to fail again. Now, if they tried to unionize in Oakland or Los Angeles, where Amazon, by the way, pays $18 an hour, McDonald's still only pays $15. So harder to replace Amazon workers, because do you really want to switch jobs from McDonald's, which is predictable, and you go buy a little menu of what to do, to have to pee in a bottle and be an Amazon worker? No, you probably wouldn't do it for $3. But Alabama, to make twice as much money, absolutely you're going to take that Amazon job and thank them for it. So, I think that game developers are like that. They're high paid. If they think there's a risk they're going to lose their job by unionizing, then they probably aren't going to do it. I'd say low probability. Please make sure, if you're a Patreon patron, that you also are a Twitch Prime link to your Amazon Prime account. There's a ticker below with your names on it. If you don't see your name there, you didn't do it right. Try it again. And if you're a YouTube subscriber or Patreon patron, we thank you. If you've linked Twitch Prime to Amazon Prime, we thank you. If you're watching for free on YouTube, follow me on Twitter at Michael Pachter.